the numbers were stacked against you. Most people do fail. If you try this company and fail, honestly, I just don't think you try it. Like, we've got a model that works, and everybody that does it, by the time that this training and everything's done today, you'll know how to take 30 minutes a day for 30 days and turn it into $1,000 a month. You'll know. It's such a simple, easy, duplicatable system. Everybody on this Zoom can do it. So if you're a guest, if you're visiting, get with the person who got you on this Zoom and get the rest of your questions answered, but give them a yes or give them a no. And if you want to do something with the business, yeah, heck yeah, let's do it, right? And if you don't want to do something with the business, look, $100, $99, lose weight while you sleep. Who doesn't want to lose weight while you sleep? I can tell you the sleep products changed my life. I have one of those minds that just goes, never turns off. And by sleeping better through the night, I feel so much better through the day. I also know I don't eat fruits and vegetables. I try not to. I avoid them. I think that they're the plague. But by taking my super green capsule, I get 4.5 servings of fruits and vegetables, and I don't feel so guilty making my kids eat their fruits and vegetables. Come on, you gotta eat those fruits and vegetables. And then if you want to make $500 a month, we got a better model. You know, most companies, 30 is a break even. Here, that's $1,000 a month. If you want to make $100,000 a year, we've got hundreds of people that have done that in their first year. And if you want to make $100,000 a month or $100,000 a week, we've got people that have done that in their first year. So this is an exciting place to be. It's an exciting opportunity, and we're grateful to have you on. Now, all those that would like to stay, we're going to go into some training. And usually when you get into training, when you get into these super Saturdays, when you get into these fly-in events, you got to buy a ticket. I paid money to see this guy. Our next presenter is one of my favorite personal trainers ever. I can tell you for years and years, I built huge teams that I would never let personal trainers, coaches, or authors come teach my people. And the main reason is I felt like they wanted access to my network to sell their things. Then I got on the phone with this guy named Woody Woodward, and he said, let's meet. And we sat down and we met. And in like 30 minutes, he broke down my personality types, my likes, my dislikes. And then he broke down how to fix a bad day. We actually sat down and we did what's called relationship to riches. And he did my emotional fingerprint. And it wasn't not only what makes me tick, what makes me not tick, but how to fix it when I didn't tick. And he said he could do that for everybody on my team. And I'm like, all right, you're coming to my next event. That was just the beginning. We've spent years. We've actually done events in all parts of the world. We've done some crazy things. I'm super excited to bring on our next speaker. He's my favorite motivational speaker ever. He's one of my really good friends. And Woody, are you with us? I got to go find you and make you a co-host.
I am right here, my friend. Can you see me?
I do. Hold on one second. Let's oh my goodness, that's a skinny Woody. What the heck? In the world, you get COVID, you come back home and you're skinny. I don't even recognize you. You look fantastic.
It's the pills I'm taking that you sent me, man. They're working.
Wow, you got your sexy back. That is
working on it.
Okay, I'm gonna geek out for a second. None of these guys are even paying attention. You don't even have to worry about this. What's the stupidest thing we've done together? I mean, I know you've done some stupid things, but you and I have done some stupid things together. What's the stupidest thing you remember?
Being in Lake Powell and almost killing that new kid you brought on your team. So we had stayed up all night long. I'm living on about 2 hours of sleep. We jump on the Sea-Doos and I go chasing this young kid down, and he turns right in front of me, and I take my Sea-Doo that you rented and I drove over his Sea-Doo and almost killed him. Cost about $6,000, and to this day you still haven't sent me the bill for it. So thank you very much.
We trashed those Sea-Doos. I remember everybody like surfing behind the boat, and you're like, that's not good enough. So you went kayaking behind the boat. You were holding on to the kayak. How about when we got teams and we went up the Provo River and we just threw all this crap together. You brought like kayaks and plywood and rope and twine and all sorts of stuff. And we had 2 teams make rafts and they go float down this pretty fast, very cold moving river. I thought one of the kids was going to drown. He was like hypothermic and he was like, he couldn't get on the boat. And yeah, I think we did a couple $1,000s of damage that day too.
Yeah, and I think someone broke their ankle, if I remember correctly, on that trip. So I'm grateful to come on here today and see what damage we can do. This will be easy.
50 plus books. This guy is not an author. This guy is like a typing machine. I think he's like absolutely insane. He's taken and oh my gosh, he taught his kids. We're gonna talk about these before you're done because I've got these like rings from.
Don't say anything. Don't share anything. That's part of my speech.
Okay, yeah, because that's like so cool. My kids are like all geeked out. They come home like, have you heard about this guy? He's amazing. I'm like, that's one of my best friend's sons. That's like awesome. Okay, we'll go into that. Then he wrote a book on how to sell anything to anyone. And that's what we're going to talk about today. So that like, guys, this is the dude. Look, check this out. Millionaire Dropouts, Drive Sales, Relationships to Riches. I have more stuff by Woody on my huge shelves than any other writer or author out there. And he's just a cool guy. So guys, get your notepads, get your pens. If you know there's people that should be on this that aren't, take notes. This guy's amazing. He's fantastic. We'll have him on again. We'll have him at events, but really take notes. Now, Woody, do I need to make you co-host, get you a PowerPoint? What do we need to do here?
Let's do this. Let me do share screen. Yeah, host has to disable participant. Yeah, you gotta make me a host.
All right, let me see if I can work on that. Burke, are you still on? I think you need to log out. Oh no, Woody's co-host. Somebody smarter than me made you co-host. I'm gonna zone out and you take over. But guys, pay attention. We got Woody Woodward.
Perfect. Let me open this up. All right, there we go. Fantastic. All right. And then let's mute everybody. Is there a way to mute everybody? Let's see here 1 second.
Okay, just unmute yourself. There you go.
There you go. Perfect. All right, let's rock and roll. So let me tell you why I hate my son. And it's a very true hatred. So as Lance was saying, I wrote a book called Driver Cells, and 1 year ago tomorrow is when we launched it. And it was a huge worldwide launch. We did, we had billboards, we had done 40,000 bookstores, we had done 10 countries. We even hit #1 on Amazon organically within the first week. My son, as Lance was holding up, he makes takes antique spoons, cuts them off, bends them into these rings. And he sold out. So the same day that I am launching my drive book, it was my 42nd book, this kid sells out of all his stuff. Now you have to understand something. This isn't me boosting about myself, but I've interviewed over 2,500 people for my research on this book. I've read over 1,000 biographies. I've written over 600 business articles. I've written 42 books. I've produced 500 training videos, and I've spent 25 years dedicating my life to sales. And this snot-nosed kid beats me in the first day. His sales were larger than I was so furious. If you look at his phone, you'll see his graph. We were both on our phones looking at who was selling more every single second. And this punk kid outsells me. How did he do it? He has an audience. His TikTok following at that time was 654,000 followers. Now, I've been doing this for 2.5 decades. I have a lot of following as well, but nothing to match his. And it really changed the way I looked at COVID. I looked at the way businesses were being affected. I just moved last week from Orlando. I was about 1.5 miles from Disney World. And this is a typical day at Disney World. This is a picture I took during COVID, where literally my family and like 6 other people were at Disney World that day. Think about the airport. If you traveled all in the last year, they were empty. Airlines literally shut down, parked their airplanes on tarmaxes and out in Arizona in the desert. New York completely shut down. You got restaurants that had very few people in them. Malls were non-existent. Nobody was going to the mall. And everything everywhere was done. Gyms were closed. In fact, these companies actually filed bankruptcy in the last year. Cirque du Soleil, Neiman Marcus, Pier 1 Imports, Gold's Gym, Hertz, all because of one thing. They didn't have an audience. And I don't know if you've ever felt this way. I did. I thought, am I in the wrong business? You know, have I done this too long? Or am I doing the business wrong? And that's really what hit me. And it kind of gave me hope. It's like an Etch-a-Sketch. The entire world during COVID got shaken up. You could have Delta, you could have Disney with billions of dollars in ad revenue, in profitability. And because of COVID, they were shut down. Second quarter of 2020, Disney and Delta both lost $5 billion. That's with a B, $5 billion in revenue. Now, these are people who are graduated from MIT, from Yale, from Harvard with masters in marketing, and they still failed. So I want to give you a history of the audience of building. Like, how do you build an audience? You go back from the 1930s to 1980s, it was Hollywood stars. People would use Hollywood stars to promote their product. Then in the 90s, it became supermodels. Early 2000s was reality stars. And then 2010s, those were online influencers. Well, right now we're in a new decade. It's changed again to micro influencers. These are people who have an audience of 20,000 or less. So large influencers are now gone. It's the micro influencers that are moving the needle. That means you guys, if you've ever felt like, oh, well, I'm not a Hollywood celebrity, I'm not a huge online influencer, you don't need to be. In fact, it's actually better off if you're not, because people will believe you far more than they will believe a Kardashian or a Brad Pitt or somebody. So in the entire humanity of history, it has never been easier than right now to build an audience. And part of the day, I'm going to show you how to do that. Step one is we're going to cover how to find your audience. Where is your audience hiding? 2, how do you build an audience? And 3, how do you sell to the audience? So number one, write this down. Number one is how to find an audience. I love real estate. I've always loved real estate because it's so unique. So this is a picture of San Francisco. You got the Victorian homes. You've got huge offices in the background. You got warehouses. When you think about trying to find a house, and I know Lance was looking for a new home a while ago, and I think you finally got one. And he called me up. He's like, Woody, where you live, what houses are good in that neighborhood? And so when you go onto the MLS, you can be very specific and easily identify how many bedrooms, how many bathrooms, how many square feet. Think about people the same way. What if you could identify the perfect customer for you? So you're not spending all your time wandering around trying to find this product is for everybody. What if you could find the right person who would resonate instantly with what you had to share? But to do that, I want to first have you experience drive for yourself. I want you to identify what drives you. Now, I have spent 2.5 decades interviewing people, trying to understand what drives human behavior. And in the process, I did find this incredible shortcut that's beautiful. I'm going to have you read these 5 cards. So read each card to yourself first, then read them again and put them in order. Actually, to save time, choose the one card, just the one card that makes you feel the most important. Now, I want to be very clear here. What makes you feel important is different than what's important to you. So family could be important to you. Family may not make you feel important. Doesn't mean you're a bad parent or a bad spouse. So go ahead and read these 5 cards and select the one letter that makes you feel important. Now, I'm not going to speak for about 2 minutes. I'm going to give you some time. I want you to really do this because it will make the rest of this very interactive and a lot more fun for you. Oh, and then when you're done, go in the comments and just write what letter you are. That'll be fun. It'll be very interactive.
I don't see my comments.
If you ever get stuck between one or two cards, ask yourself, which one could you not live without? Instantly, your mind subconsciously will say, oh, it's this. So identify what makes you feel important, not what's important to you. Go ahead and write that in the comments. I'll give you about 1 more minute. And Lance, if you'll go ahead and mute everybody again, and then I'll unmute myself. Thank you. All right, let's go ahead and get started. Go ahead and take a screenshot if you have your phone or on your computer, take a screenshot of this. That way you can use it with your teams, and I'll give you an opportunity to get more access to this. Okay, so if you chose the D, D is for directors. They're motivated by lifestyle. They're excited to be free and independent. They're very spontaneous. They want to experience life to a higher level. That's what I am. I'm a hardcore D, very much about lifestyle. My wife and I have moved, oh my gosh, I think we counted 32 times in 26 years of marriage and have owned 45 cars. So very spontaneous, very motivated by being able to have the lifestyle that we want. If you chose R, R is for relator. They're driven by community. So they love to give back. They think of others. They are very loyal in their relationships. I is intellectual. They're motivated by systems. It's that back office, intelligence, organization, systematization. They want to know from point A to point B as fast as possible. V is for validators. They want to be admired, and they're great at giving validation to others. So they validate others. They're very trustworthy, and they're very respectful. E is for executive. They're all about proof. They're the show me the money personalities. They're driven. They want to win, and they're very, very productive. So take a screenshot of this, because this is going to help when it comes to finding your audience online. So directors want lifestyles, relators want community, intellectuals want systems, validators want to be admired, and executives want proof. So I want to go one level deeper, and then I'm going to go kind of really fast to get some additional information. And this is part I want it to be interactive for you. And if I read this paragraph and it resonates with you, go ahead and mark a yes in the comment section, because I want you guys to see a very strong pattern here. If you're a director, directors enjoy a good challenge and love to feel free and independent. They enjoy being creative, discovering new things, and enjoy experiencing life. They're great in social settings, putting together a variety of people and making a difference and making something happen. They find joy in overcoming obstacles and making a difference in the world. So if you're a director and that resonates with you, go ahead in the comment section and hit yes. If you're a relator, they know how to build strong, long-term, healthy relationships. In the workplace, their strength is in networking and building other people up to a higher level of productivity. They garner energy and security through their relationships. They're loyal to their friends and are service-minded. So once again, if you're a relator, go ahead and hit yes. Intellectuals, they are stimulated intellectually, either through books, speeches, research, conversations, or organization. Success comes when they accomplish a task. They'd rather be learning something new than just lying around. They are driven to understand and be more knowledgeable. They like to share what they know with others. So once again, if that represents you, hit a yes. Validators enjoy intimate, small groups of people where they're being validated. Often they are wonderful at giving validation to others. Their confidence stems from the strength of their relationships. If they feel like they're in a healthy, caring, and trusted relationship, they feel strong, secured, and loved. If that represents you, go ahead and hit yes. Executives, they are productive and thrive on getting the job done. They're task-oriented and focused on getting results. They do not like small talk and would prefer tackling a project rather than sitting around wasting time. They are happiest when they are pursuing or achieving their desired goal. If that's you, go ahead and hit a yes in the comment. Now, here's what I want you to do. Go to the comment section and scroll through it. Notice how that is a unanimous yes. Now, this isn't a magic trick. This is just 25 years of research that in 5 minutes, I've identified who you are, what you're motivated by, your personality type, and how you show up in the world. Think if you were to do that with a customer. How could you change the sales conversation? how could you change how you show up and how you act? It would change everything. So step one is finding your audience. And this is where I'm going to kind of pick up the pace because I want to cover so much. So what is their drive? So who do you want to attract? Do you want to attract someone who's motivated by lifestyle, community, systems, being admired, or they want proof? The easiest sell you will ever make is to somebody who has the same drive as you. So if you are an intellectual, you speak an intellectual language. If you're an executive, you speak all about proof and winning and accomplishing your goals and winning. So where do they hang out, online or physically? So let's look at the groups online. You got meetups, they have 225,000 groups. You got YouTube's got 31 million channels. You got Facebook has 620 million groups. It's so easy to find them online. So once again, I told you I like real estate. If I type in real estate investing and I click on groups, it gives me a list of real estate people. But let's get more specific to drive. Let's say I want to attract directors. Type in lifestyle and you will find different people who are motivated. This first one, fashion, lifestyle, clothing, entertainment, it's got 57,000 members who are all attracted to lifestyle. Same thing with community relators, same thing with knowledge and intelligence, or intellectuals, validators. I put lifting others because I didn't want to put validation. Goal setting for executives. Any of those things will instantly help you find that audience you want to participate with. You can get even crazy creative and type in team mass hamsters and you're going to find 10 members. You could own that group. Like you could go into that group and own that group. So identify groups that you love and you care about. Identify what drive you want to be attracted to and how your product would best serve that community. And it's easy to find your audience. So that's how you find the audience. 2 is building that audience. Use drive to build the audience. So my son Pierce, he had 330,000 followers and came to me and said, Dad, I love drive. He's grown up with it. How do I use that to increase my audience? I said, very simple. Let's make a post that talks to all 5 personalities. So lifestyle, creative, community, systems, validation, and proof. He made one post and instantly jumped from 330,000 to 574,000 followers. That's 250,000 new people followed his message. And then he went stagnant, just died there for about 6 months. So what he was posting was things that he was interested in, but there's no continuity. So he didn't pick a topic. He didn't pick an idea. He didn't pick something that he could really get passionate behind. Well, I'll show you these rings. So he makes these rings from antique spoons. And I said, Pierce, focus on that and then be very specific to each drive. So he had massive continuity where each post was about the spoon, was about where he got it from. And as he did that, his viewership went up through the roof. He's had videos now that reached 10 million views, all because he was very conscious about the continuity and about drive. But more importantly, it jumped in 1 year. He went from 500,000 followers to 1.5 million followers. And because of that, he's running a 7-figure business at the age of 18, all because knowing how drive worked to help connect with other people. Now, number 3 is selling to your audience based on their drive. You get compensated in direct proportion to the problems you solve. Write that down. You get compensated in direct proportion to the problems you solve. People do not compensate you based on your kindness, your faith, your outlook, your looks, your health, your attitude, your intentions, or your moral value. That is not why you are compensated. Take Michael Jordan. In 2019, he was paid by Nike $134 million. When he was working as a professional basketball player, in his 15-year career, he only made $90 million. Now, I only say not only $90 million, it's a lot of money, but that's beating up his body, that's lacing up, playing day and night, traveling around the world. And in 2019, he made $134 million simply because he helped Nike earn $3 billion, and he makes a percentage of that. So he's making over $100 million a year passive income because of the value he creates for Nike. You take Sarah Blakely, invented Spanx. How many men and women have benefited from that very simple invention? She solved the problem, has a net worth of over $1 billion. One of my favorite quotes is by Larry Page, the co-founder of Google. He said, "It's easy to be a billionaire. Solve a $10 billion problem." So when we're talking about sales, and I know some people have a negative connotation to sales. I believe in sales. I love sales. To me, it's about problem solving. If you can solve problems for people, you'll be compensated accordingly. Let's look at each drive and figure out what problem does that drive have. So if you're a director,